And we're back. Well, there was a little intro there. This is Beyond the Pendulum. This is episode, I believe, 32. Let me make sure that the back end is actually working. Oh, sorry, episode 33. My bad.
Ooh, Masonic. Very Masonic.
Very Masonic, yeah. Let me see if it actually went to the YouTube. It did. It went to the YouTube, went to the Twitter. Copy, and then let's boost this thing to my other account, and maybe we'll get 100 views out there. So I'm not sure if our followers are, I'm not sure where you are in the what's been going on in UFO Twitter. There's been quite a few things since the last time we were on. I did get some almost hands down proof on a high definition film pic camera that there is something to this Pelicaris, and it's leading more towards what I was seeing as some sort of military cell that is using advanced technology. And I saw the gear that they were supposedly, they kind of look like the Green Goblin, and they're using this black vests that are blacker than black, and that's a new technology. That's fairly new stuff. It's been around only 4 or 5 years in development for another 20, but it appears that what we are seeing is some sort of most likely some sort of what Sergeant Hernandez has been saying is that there are cells all around the world that are using alien technology in some sort of loosely organized groups that are running almost independently. Just like something you'd see out of a movie. And I didn't believe it until I saw the photos. They weren't doctored. You did see a guy on something about 45 feet in the air, for fairly far off. Didn't look doctored at all. And to be honest, go that far into the jungle, I'd be surprised if anybody knew how to edit photos. As far as what's going on in the mainstream media, what we're dealing with here stateside in the U.S. is we are dealing with the NDAA 2024, which is National Defense and Authorization Act of 2023//2024, also known AKA as the UAP Disclosure Act. And what happened over Thanksgiving weekend was 4 Republican House members, including Mitch McConnell and Mike Turner, decided to try to take an axe to the Schumer amendment, which was about 75, I think, got at least 75 pages of the bill, and it roughly went over on a controlled plan which would sprawl out over a period of about 25 years and go over a lot of the legal acquisition and who owns what and how much they can reveal to us. But it was a road to disclosure. There seems to be people up in arms in the UFO community who don't deal with law and legislation. I do come from the activist world, and even I am kind of up in bars. But I did listen to Stephen Bassett go over this bill, line by line, including the Schumer amendment. And, coming from somebody who knows politics, and I do, there are certain factions within the UFO community, and I believe that is what is going on in the House, is that they're trying to either do Tim Burchett's amendment or the Schumer amendment, and I don't think that's what's going. There seems to be some weird confusion even in Congress, but The Tim Burchett amendment was supposed to add on to the Schumer amendment, not one or the other. We're talking apples and oranges. Where Tim Burchett was talking about, informing the basically, what this goes over is that Congress has to be informed about these SAP programs, and nowhere there's only the only amendment that discusses any of this about us, the public, being involved in any of this about disclosure was in the Schumer amendment, not in Tim Burchett's amendment. And that wasn't by that. I don't know who wrote Tim's thing. I do know that he's trying to throw us a bone here. And I don't think he did it intentionally, but it was supposed to be added on to the Schumer, onto what is on the Schumer amendment. We Nothing. It was supposed to get killed on Monday. It went into deliberations all day. Unfortunately, we are at a stalemate, and this is not going to go anywhere probably until January. They might try and kill it over the holiday weekends, but I don't see any kind of organizational stuff that happened. I mean, yes, there was informed rumors that they were going to try and kill it over Thanksgiving weekend. That's kind of weird, but they've done it before. They might try and pull it over the holiday weekend or the holidays this year. I doubt it. But the problem with this bill is if it comes up in January, because they at some point the NDAA bill has to be voted on, or the DoD and the Pentagon are not, the military industrial complex is not going to get any money. Okay, so it has to be passed, and it's near the deadline of when the January funding bill for the 2024 year is up, with all that extra shit that we've been fucking trying to fund the government for the whatever. They're making it out worse than it's supposed to be. It's not a complete shutdown. This is stuff that needs to be voted on, which I think was just oh God, I can't remember off the top of my head which branch this would be impacting, but they are making it act like it's a little more chaotic than it needs to be. We are seeing pushback from these four delegates, these four representatives that are backed up by Lockheed Martin, through a little birdie, hands down. I'm like 99.9% certain that Lockheed Martin does have a craft of some sort, and this has been going around the inner circles for quite some time, and accidental blurting out through a Congress member. We do know that the DIA, through James Lukatsky, have recovered craft and have entered craft. And we also learned through the Daily Mail, through three different journalists, including Christopher Sharp, that the CIA had a secret office that was created in 2003 that were their smash and grab fucking for reverse engineering technology. And through this organization, and this is documented on the UK article, is that they have since 2003 recovered 9 alien craft.
It's 9 now. Yeah, I thought it was something that was 6 or 7. Yeah, they were admitting to that.
Yeah. It's called the OSC. It's like some sort of secret CIA office that I've never heard of. Oh man, yeah. I guess this came up in the Daily Mail. The glowing red cube. I know about that. Oh no, this is November 9th. Okay, I already know about the glowing red cube in Vandenberg. I already know about that. That's a story. That's a story most people don't know. Yeah, that happened. That happened back in 2000 or mid 2000s. Yeah, there was a glowing red cube freaking out fucking the A glowing, actually wasn't a glowing red cube, it was a glowing red square. Flying around Vandenberg in the early 2000s. But yeah, we do, so everything that you've heard about these recovery crews that they are able to go and recover these downed alien craft. These are this CIA group includes everything from Delta Force to professional aircraft recovery crews that do this on a daily basis. Including the deep sea and recovery groups of the Navy that do recover nuclear armaments from the bottom of the ocean. So these are crews that are able to get anywhere in the world within 24 hours and recover whatever the fuck they need, even behind enemy lines, which I believe one of these craft was, I think it was Iran or something like that, that they had recovered. So I don't know. I know that the general public is not well informed about what's going on. So the NDA, the Disclosure Act, the public is going to get some sort of disclosure, hands down. You're going to get some statement. It probably won't be verbal. It will most likely happen in, here are the documents, read it, you decide. Because there's no politician that's going to say that we have things flying in our own air and we have agreements with some of them, but other ones we don't, and some of them abduct you and they might do things to you, and there's nothing we can do about that. And some of them are hostile. I think it's going to be more of a shit show, more like read and see.
The other thing working against you here is, just like 9/11 and the Patriot Act, it's always the opposite. The
Yeah.
Patriot Act would actually destroy the Bill of Rights, and the same thing here. Now you have a Disclosure Act. Well, that really in government talk is the cover up and non-disclosure act. We're going to make sure we codify it right now that you can't get disclosure.
Yeah.
That's how these guys twist it.
Yeah, and the language is very specific to NHI and UAP. I'm not gonna lie, the language is more about transparency. It's really not. So you might get you will get the admission that we're not alone on this planet. You will get the admission that there is craft flying around in our airspace, but you're not going to get the juicy details, unfortunately. And yeah, you're going to get little tidbits. Like right now, even in the FOIA archives, I can point you to places where you can look within the CIA FOIAs. You can go back in the 50s and 60s and look around for what are they called, flying propane tanks. You can look for those. Well, what we now call Tic Tacs, and just dig around through FOIAs, looking around for flying propane tanks, because they didn't know what to fucking call them back then. But you will get the admission that and the documentation through the Department of Energy, the DOE, CIA, and other FOIAs. You do get the admission that there is something here. But officially, you're getting that it doesn't exist. So, what we want in the disclosure movement is going to happen on some level, but it's going to be probably a multi-year process, unfortunately.
Yeah, and whistleblowers. I mean, that's pretty much how you get anything out of government.
Yeah,
all the truth stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to get the speech from the president. You're not going to. This is always going to be on the fringe, and unfortunately, I'm saying this to our audience. Like even I've seen in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 sightings out here in LA. 3 sightings in 3 weeks.
Now, what kind of sightings? We have 3 sightings here.
I thought I was actually seeing because it was right. The first sighting was right on the cusp of a meteor shower, and I thought what I was seeing each time was a meteor going down, right? Okay, but the thing is going fast because I used to fly planes, so I was a NCAP, so I was trained to look for objects or justify objects and how fast they're moving. So this thing was moving faster than terminal velocity, probably going around Mach 2 and maybe a little faster and not that high, maybe about 1,500 feet, going down to about 100, and I'd say around the 500 feet level within a couple of, maybe like a second, and then switching its trajectory, going down and then moving in a straight up pattern. And I saw that happening 3 times, and all of the sightings were within 15 miles of each other in 3 different weeks. And each time I thought I was seeing a meteor, only to see the goddamn thing change trajectory, go from going at a 45-degree slant, going back to a 90-degree all the way back up again. That's not normal. And the thing, each object was similar, like a faint white LED kind of thing, and it was maybe roughly the size of a truck. Maybe not that big. No sound, no sonic boom. I thought I was seeing fireworks or something. I think I was like, my head was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? And the second week I saw it like 15 miles in the other direction. I was like, what the fuck again? The third time I saw it, I was like, okay, well, I'm probably seeing something. I don't know. It was unidentified. To move at Mach 2 that low, going faster than the speed of sound that low is fairly difficult for most aircraft to handle.
Yeah, now I have heard there's I don't know if it's like a Fleet Week event or what they call it out there, but there's a special low pass event that happens in Southern California. And I mean, these guys are running like 30 foot off the water, right on the coastline. There's a certain spot they do it at.
Oh no, this wasn't even in the water. This was all in the boonies of kind of the north end of North Orange County near the oil pits. Like kind of out in the middle of nowhere land. And then you got hills and mountains. And it definitely wasn't plasma. I did think at first I was seeing a meteor, but meteors don't change trajectory unless they explode and they split up. And that's not what I was seeing. It was just so. I never.
Well, did you make your MUFON report?
No. I figured nobody believed me anyway.
Anybody else see it? I mean, did it pop up anywhere else?
No, because it was so quick. It was like maybe the whole event maybe lasts 3 seconds each time. But I just happened to be looking at the right place at the right time,
No. Yeah, you seem to have a knack for it.
Well, I mean, all the sightings were within 15 miles of each other, and I think I'm seeing the same goddamn thing. I've never seen anything. I know you can go faster than this. I know you can get around Mach 2, but you're going to need something like, twin ramjet engines, or Pratt Whitney. You're going to have at least 2 of them, going on the afterburners, making a sonic boom that low. Because
it's pretty much military. I mean, you're not. I don't know of any commercial that you're going to get unless it's like a kit plane experimental. That could even get. I think there's one kit plane that can maybe get like Mach 1.5.
That low, yeah.
So
usually,
but otherwise it's military.
Yeah, usually you got to get above 35,000 feet to get to the higher speeds. Yeah, because the air is thinner, so you have less resistance.
Yeah.
It's just I really don't know what I saw, but I mean it's kind of like actually, like I remember Remember that other sighting that I said my friend in Riverside was said he was seeing the same thing. Thought we were looking at Chinese lanterns, but they weren't Chinese lantern. It was just like some pink oscillating cube thing, just kind of like moving around and disappearing and then appearing somewhere else. Kind of like what happened at the Vandenberg thing, that floating square. I don't know. I kind
Yeah.
I kind of live near, near a hot spot, so, you know, I don't know. For all I know, I could be seeing like weird plasma anomalies, from charged ionized air. I don't know.
It's not a laser light show out of some Hollywood. Uh,
No, I mean
movie.
I mean, I don't put the plasma thing out off the thing, but whatever it was, it wasn't normal. No miss.
Now there is some. It's that strange lightning you get around seismic areas. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the name of that right off.
It's like the one that happens in the near infrared. I know what you're talking about, and it's actually called sprites.
Yeah, you don't need a cloud or anything. It can be a free air lightning type thing.
I mean, it could have been that, but it was like 9 o'clock at night. And there were no. Well, I know that one night, the first night there were no clouds. The other two nights I wasn't paying attention. Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta post a camera somewhere or wear a camera all the time.
I wish I was. Then somebody would believe me.
Yeah,
Yeah, for my second thought was after I saw what I saw, like it was like maybe it was just like a firework that was like not going the right direction, but like what fucking firework goes like Mach 2? Exactly, like none.
no, no.
So I don't know.
You had one of them randomly generated what cosmic ray events in your eyeball. It hit.
A neutrino.
Yeah, it's a rare neutrino that pierced through and went through your eyeball.
That actually does happen when cosmic particles when what is it? Because certain forms of radiation hit your eye perceives it as a photon, and that's what actually those fireworks the original astronauts on the moon were seeing, you know, was
Yeah, I think once you
radiation.
get out of the Van Allen area belt, uh, then you have it. They did report more. Seeing more of those flashes like that in their vision.
Yeah, it was radiation hitting their photos something cell, whatever it is, the iris or whatever, and the eye interprets it as light, which it
Hmm.
is, but it's actually damaging radiation.
It makes you wonder how well they are rare events, but how rare. I wonder sometimes.
Well, the Earth recently was actually hit by some weird cosmic ray, and we have no idea where it came. It only lasts for a fraction of a second, but the voltage was crazy.
Ah,
We don't know what the fuck it was.
yeah, I have heard that story. Well, no telling. I don't.
What else do we?
As they look at, as they look into these, there's another astronomical event. It was like the biggest gamma ray burst ever along those lines. Yeah, they've had a couple of big ones here lately.
Oh yeah, like a
Plus what you're
super.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, we also had a supernova back 20 years ago that was visible in night and day. Was it 60s or 80s or 70s somewhere around there? Oh God, that was longer. That's like 40 years ago. We had Grush went on Joe Rogan and divulged a little more about what he was doing, and Joe Rogan isn't 100% buying it, unfortunately, when it comes to when it comes to David Grush. He believes that he's telling the truth, but Joe Rogan also believes that it's some sort of psyop. And I think what Joe Rogan is dealing with is it's questioning his ideology, and that is what is not making him see the full picture. I get it, Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan said the same thing, about Bob Lazar. You know, he believes he's telling the truth, but I mean, it's like, why would the government go to like all of this lengths to make up, like the dude was working on alien technology. Like, how do you fake that? And the same thing with David Grush. How do you fake the photographic evidence? How do you fake the video and photographic evidence that David Grush was exposed to? Like, I don't know.
Unless you're movie quality setup, which they could be, but it's just a lot to go to, a lot of trouble to go to,
Yeah, and
and
not.
the cover up doesn't work anymore. I don't know why they continue to cover up, because the story is kind of out there.
Oh yeah, especially.
Definitely. I mean, you're 80 years, 90 years into this. I mean, how long has it been going on, and you still have trouble with disclosure? It's like JFK. They want to pat you on the head. You know, 60 years later, still acting like that's it's national security or something. I mean, 60 years later, I mean, who could possibly be hurt by that? That's still around, and
Exactly.
it's just nonsense, man. The whole, what a lot of this, what this government does is just nonsense.
Yeah, and not including the videos of Bob Lazar when he was videotaping the test flights. How do you fake that?
Mm, you know,
Yeah, we were just seeing dots floating around at night, but it's hard. There's just too much out there. I'm sorry. We've been hearing the stories for ever since I was a kid. Hell, my grandfather told me that we had craft.
yeah. I mean, you get more UFO incidents than you do movies out there.
It might, it might,
You don't really need a movie, because I mean, this stuff's happening all the time if you're actually watching and paying attention.
yeah, my grandfather was a colonel working for the Pentagon. He told me when he was drunk.
Yeah.
I actually didn't expect him to say that, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. What else do we have going on here? We also have the Soul Foundation conference, which wants to lay out a groundwork and be an intermediate between the government and what is going on. And there was a plan. It was a 3-day conference about like all the who's who in UFOs world, and going around laying a foundation that eventually what they were saying was actually really good stuff. How we need the academia to be the intermediate between the government and what is going on out there, and eventually take away the role from the government, because this is not real. This is not really a national security issue. What we're dealing with is a humanity question. Where are we going? Why are we here? Are we alone? We know we're not alone. That's something I wanted to go over, was the Holloman incident, where in the Holloman Air Force Base in I believe in New Mexico, where a bunch of UFOs landed, and there were these guys that looked like they had cat eyes, and they were dressed like they were from Egypt. Like, I am not shitting you. You can't make up this story. They had cat eyes, and they were dressed with like the same shit that looked like they were from ancient Egypt, talking through some sort of device that was translating what they were saying.
I've never heard that story. That is pretty outlandish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the weirdest. That's some of the weirdest stuff I've even heard. It was like one in Kentucky where, some alien was smoking some shit out of a pipe and then stared at somebody and then disappeared. Yeah, it wasn't a gray either. It was like some. They said it almost looked like leopards, but they were like people, and they had like a flap, like a skin flap where there should be hair. So, in the middle of nowhere in
And
Kentucky in the 50s. Yeah.
now there was a story of a UFO that was that had landed on some railroad tracks, and the train hit it. You remember that one? This goes back. It's probably in the 80s, and it pretty much destroyed this one engine that smashed into it. So they dragged that uh, engine to the rail yard, and some special crew came in and literally disassembled that thing. There was a few pictures of it, and then not much after, and it was just purposely disassembled and moved out.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, these guys can do anything. I mean, it's amazing the capabilities they can draw, and it's like literally every discipline and skill is represented. How many times over, so you can get people there that fast. That's what's always amazed me by these craft downings and how fast these people were getting to them.
yeah.
But it's all but coming out now. It's
Smoky.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. It's my baby. It's my baby. My son. What are you doing, Adam? Making poopies? Okay. I need to stop, please. I'm still on the show. I'm just live. Thank you. Probably got another 5 minutes. Oh, God. I really wanted to go an hour. You still there?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Um, I don't know. Dude, we're not kids anymore. Like the government, you guys are gonna get disclosure. It's just like just gonna treat you like kids all along the way. Tell Joe Schmo, the stock market guy, knows that there's aliens.
Yeah, it's just the way they have to like pretend, and it's all designed to keep you under their thumb, maintain some kind of facade of authority, as they tell pat you on the head and tell you a little bit at a time.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's gonna be spoon fed to us. Because
Just like your kid.
yeah, I mean, I heard it this way. You know, if they don't want this amendment to come through, if they're just going to keep on blocking it, fine. Then you're going to have uncontrolled disclosure, and they're going to have everybody from. You're. I mean, what do you want? Do you want the aliens explaining to us, how they're here, or do you want government whistleblowers and leakers to explain how it's going down, or do you want the government to just to do the narrative? Let the idiots in Congress argue over that, because either way we're gonna get it. There's enough push there. And I was surprised. I was surprised at how hard they were fighting. How every side was fighting tooth and nail on Monday. Holy shit! They even kicked out the reporters after 22 minutes in, after they started going into classified stuff. You know.
Yeah, you have to go to executive session, because we don't want to disclose these things to these plebes. It's
Yeah,
just
we
a
got.
continuing insult. You're just see. Here's the problem. You're not worthy. You're just not worthy to know this. That's the problem. They don't think you're worthy.
Well, apparently I am. I've seen three of them in three.
You can't. You can't handle the truth.
We got another 2 minutes or another minute, and then I'll have to call it.
All right.
Yeah. So no show next week for sure. I can't. Let me see what's coming up. The 14th. Yes, there will be a show on the 14th for sure. So next week, no. The week after, yes. And probably on the 21st and the 28th, I will be able to as well. I don't think I'll be working at all. I don't know. We'll see. But the 14th for sure. I will continue to keep you guys updated. To our listeners, you can always follow this channel or my Twitter, my other Twitter handle at Asriel2600, or at B underscore T underscore P underscore one on Twitter, and you can follow me the updates. But I don't update that regularly. I don't update that account because it's severely limited because of what X did to. Because I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay the verified stuff for two accounts. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna pay Twitter $20 a month for features I already paid for one account. But we'll go from there, and hopefully they won't kill this shit over the holiday weekend, and we'll go off. We'll leave from there.